2, how I spent the apocalypse. Every day a new adventure. Or what we like to call the Trump era.
Yeah.
Everything he touches turns to shit. Even when he does something good that might work, he does it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And yet his people are all applauding all the time. So I don't get it. I don't get it. His approval rating is high. I don't get it. So I guess I'm the one who's different. I don't know. At any rate, we had straight line winds. But there's no climate change.
No.
And certainly if there is climate change, God's doing it. It doesn't have anything to do with us.
Yeah.
But we had straight line winds. As you know, I cut down my 3 dead problem trees. But I knew other trees had problems. But I also knew that they should have lived another 10, 15 years. That would be this tree here,
It was still alive.
which was, as you can see, was still green all the way up, which is why I'm having so much trouble trying to burn the stump out.
Right.
And that one over there, which I had them go ahead and cut down because this one blew down in the straight line wind. And then our cedar tree, which I didn't know had any problems at all. I was over here checking the damage for this. The winds
Right.
were 50 and 60 mile per hour sustained. I'm over here checking the damage from this. It's taken down the power lines, everything else. It's taken down my fence. I had to move a goat, blah, blah, blah. And I hear to me, somebody who's worked in timber their whole life, off and on, I hear the unmistakable sound of a tree that has cracked long ways in the trunk, which is a sound that's hard to explain. It's like, but like there's a demon in there too.
Yeah.
So
It
there
groans.
you
It
go.
groans.
So I don't know which tree it is, so I take off running that way.
Right.
I look back, and that cedar tree is doing this. And you can just see the cracks forming in the trunk long ways. Okay, so as my friend and the amazing writer Joe Lansdale said, you mean like one of them flailing arm things they have in the used car dealerships? I said, yes, exactly like that, Joe. So, at any rate, so I had already called Antonio, who at some point I will do an ad for Antonio's tree service, because this guy shows up when he says he's going to show up, and he does incredible things. Okay, so he gets here to look at this, and I tell him, Antonio, I don't even want you to go out there right now, because see that cedar tree? It's cut, he said, oh, that's got to come down right now. Go get your chainsaw. Because he didn't even bring his chainsaw, because he was just coming out to look to see what he needed to do that. So I went and got my chainsaw, and I told him, I said, Antonio, I don't want you to do that. It's too dangerous. He goes, it's too dangerous to leave it. It's going to fall on your house, or it's going to fall on your books, one or the other. So he said, I know what I'm doing. So he does something that I did when I was younger. So I knew what he was doing, but it is super dangerous, which is you wait for the gust to slow down, because it's not going to stop, but you wait for the lull between the strongest of the gusts. And he don't do this at home. This guy's a professional.
Right.
He cut the notch on this side where he wanted the tree to go. Then he waited for the next big gust blowing from that direction and cut it on that side and dropped it right exactly where it needed to go without hitting anything. Now, a miracle of miracles, we had that gazebo right there. And this tree, when it fell, managed to fall with giant limbs on both sides of it, and all it did was bend up the tin.
Yeah.
It's got a tear in the tin in the back. And I've got to change the front leg, which was apparently probably rotten anyway. The front leg on this side, which it shouldn't rot, it's cedar and it's under roof, but there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, that's another story. I got it off a line the electric company had cleared, and they had cut it what I didn't know is they'd also sprayed them.
Oh.
And they had sprayed them with something that actually causes them to rot. So, yay, that. So what I was trying to do when my chainsaw would not cut butter was cut that. I measured that to be the height that it needs to be to pick that back up level.
Oh, you're talking that chunk, the smaller chunk on top of the stump right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. What I'm going to do, okay, I'll come over here, I'll show you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it square on the edge, take the bark off of it, and cut that off and slide this in on the
Oh.
concrete that post was in.
I see.
And what I'll do is I'll pick it up on one, I'll use a lever, and I'll have Lynn pick up on it, and then I'll put this under there.
This is the post she's talking about right here.
Yeah, it's rotted on the bottom. And having the tree hit it even so slightly just broke it.
Yeah.
So I got that to do. But as you can see, this is the biggest problem. And of course, Antonio, it's the first of season. So he gets out here with his big saw, which is what he needs to do this shit with.
Right. Because this is live oak.
Because this is alive, and you can see it was not in bad shape.
Healthy.
Well, it was as healthy as it was going to be with that
Yeah.
fungus. But
Yeah.
you can see that fungus, you can barely see traces of it. This tree should have lasted another 10 years.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
Nope.
Straight line winds.
Yep.
And they were straight line too. They weren't tornado because I was out here when it was happening.
Yeah.
I was literally in the milk room
When it
I
fell.
heard this tree go down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a lot. It's a lot. And this is what we're all dealing with now. All of us that have heart and soul and think and care. What we're dealing with is the thing that's so overwhelming is we're dealing with all of this shit, which is normally what happens in life. You think everything's great, and then no. Look at this part of our yard. There is no shade anymore.
We've lost six
for
massive
our
trees.
House.
6 massive trees on this
We
side
have
alone.
lost 6 massive trees on this side of the house. All of them dead. In fact, this cedar, which I didn't finish talking about, has obviously been dead in the middle since probably before we bought the house. The
Over 30
only
years.
thing that was alive was the outside of it, and the top part of it was still healthy.
Yeah.
Look at this. You can see a little bit of white there.
Where are we looking
Right
at?
there. See a little bit
Oh.
of white there, but the rest of it is perfectly
Perfectly healthy. Yeah.
Okay. But what had happened, you can come down here and you can see the trunk was rotten all the way
Oh,
up to
I see the
there.
white.
See there?
Yeah, I see the
there?
white.
See there?
Yeah.
Okay.
All up in here.
And it had rotted to particles in the middle. In fact, you come up here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this tree from the outside looked perfectly good. But you can see where it cracked in the storm, there and there. There were already natural cracks because of what was going on here and here, apparently, although those are opened wider. But this one, and this one happened in the high winds. And because this is the core wood, okay? And that's what's left of it. And that's the core. This is the core of a cedar tree. Okay, so the core of these cedar trees is the hardest part. It's the part that's most resistant to rot, bugs, or disease. So the fact that it's completely gone is why I say this tree has probably been dead in the center
For a long time.
because it would have been, the top part of the tree was healthy, which means water wouldn't have gotten to this.
Nope.
So for it to rot like that, it took a long time.
Yep.
So you can see it's just gone,
Yeah.
except for the outside edge, and the upper branches, just
Yeah.
fine and healthy.
But see, there's still green. The whole top of the tree
The whole
was green.
tree was green.
That's why it was so heavy.
That's why. It was
That's why
so
it's so
top heavy,
Yeah.
which was why when the wind caught it and started twisting it, because what it was doing was it was gusting.
Right.
So it was hitting it, then when it would subside, that would twist it, then it would, and the gusts were coming so fast that it was twisting
We had
it.
sustained winds in excess of 30 miles an hour with gusts up to 60.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They said 30. They were at least 45.
Oh, I think they probably were.
I was out in it. I know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so this is what we have to deal with. So we've got all of this, and we all do. You all do. You have friends that are sick. You have loved ones that are dying. You're taking care of your grandkids and or your elderly parents. You're dealing with all the shit that you have because you're in a relationship or you're not in a relationship. You have your shit at work. And the entire time, there is the noise, which is the MAGA voice, which has taken over our country. And we don't know, are we ever going to have a fair and just election again? I don't know. Are we going to be able to do anything to stop them? I don't know. But we can't give up.
No.
And we don't give up when we just roll up our sleeves and clean up the mess we can clean up.
Right.
So,
Meanwhile, make sure you're registered, and when the midterm elections
you're
come,
registered to vote. Go and vote.
Yeah.
Even if they don't, even if they screw with it, make them have to work hard to screw with it.
Yep.
Make them have to work at it. You know, inundate them with freaking letters saying what the hell is wrong with you. Something. We have to do something. We can't just sit here and feel hopeless and wait for the worst to happen. You know, and prepare. We've talked about this before. Be prepared. The prices of everything are going to go up. You got a building project, buy your wood now.
yes,
Buy your wood now and put it back.
yes.
It's already high, it's going to get worse. Buy your wood now, put it back. Start putting back supplies, start putting back dry goods and things that you can have because food's going to get scarce. Why? Climate change.
Right.
Climate change is going to cause food scarcity. We've already seen it. A shutdown in the systems that protect our food and make sure that it doesn't have contaminants in it. This also is going to be worse. So we're going to have more E. coli outbreaks and blah, 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 blah. And that's a maybe, not necessarily, but it definitely is where we could go. Be more prepared. Be prepared. Get your shit together. And then you can at least relax on that front. You can have less nervousness about where your meals are going to come from. You can have less nervousness about how am I going to fix blah, blah, blah if it breaks. Put back the things you need to fix the things that break in your house or your apartment. Get those extra plumbing pieces that constantly are breaking. Get an extra, whatever.
Get your light bulbs.
If you have kids, you break bathroom faucets all the time. Get an extra bathroom faucet. So that you're just that much padded and you're not trying to do it all at once. Just a little bit here, a little bit there. It doesn't have to eat up your economy. It doesn't have to be. What we need is for all of this not to be our every waking thought.
Right.
That said, I have to get back to work.
Yeah.
Because I have a hellacious mess to clean up. And I've already cleaned up a great big one.
Oh, yes.
And I want to thank...
I'm going to put in the pictures.
I want to thank my son Meyer for coming out and busting his ass. I want to thank my grandson Zeb for coming out and busting his ass, helping me get so much of this that you have never seen picked up. And I want to thank my illegitimate son Mitchell.
God love it.
Mitch McDonald has come out here twice to help me. That's amazing. My friends Jack and Shauna were just here. Can we do this? Can we do that? I told them, if at some point I need your tractor, I'm going to call for your tractor. Mm-hmm. My son is trying to line up right now. He has a friend who has a hydraulic splitter that's on a trailer that we can take right to some of these big logs, because I'll be damned if we're not going to at least get firewood out of this.
Right, exactly.
So, but it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And yes, it's overwhelming. But you just keep doing it. And I am not as hopeless as a lot of people I'm listening to are. Because I do still believe even though it's not what the news is telling us. I do still believe there are more good people in this country than there are selfish assholes. I do still believe there are people with heart in this country, and I don't believe they're going to sit idly by and watch as other people's rights are trampled. So, take heart, get prepared, be ready, do your best, and then try to relax. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Okay, so I had to cut the post. I thought I could, for some reason, I stupidly thought I could get it out, but of course I couldn't. So I had to cut it top and bottom. I put this in here to keep the whole thing from falling. Although there are props in the middle, I would prefer not to put the weight in the middle.
Right.
Okay, so what I did was, I cut a chunk. I measured kind of with a stick, because why, people? Measuring's for sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of measured with a stick, and then cut this the width that I thought it needed to be. Now, it'll probably be way too big, in which case that end will set higher. I don't care. I have so you can see what I did. I cut a chunk out of the cedar tree, the length that I wanted, and then I flattened two sides. So I'm going to now slide this.
Now, you explain to me why there's room around that stick that's down in the hole still, and it's because that's where it rotted,
That's
right?
where it rotted. That's how much of that post rotted.
And that's
around
concrete
the
around
outside
it.
edge. And so that's concrete. So this will be sitting on this concrete when I get done. I
Okay.
hope. Okay, so
you need
now
me to lift that up.
I need Lynn to lift this just with that lever. I may have to get something else. Okay, I will. I'll have to. Okay, so I'm sure you guys all remember Archimedes said with a big enough lever you could pick up the world. So here we are.
Trying that out.
2025, and I'm using a Roman era level. Okay, so
It shifted.
to lift the building. Okay. Okay.
I
wait.
can- it's up our-
No, let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, because you're in the wrong spot.
I'm in the wrong spot. Of course I am.
And it's okay. Okay, so now we go here.
And now I lift again.
Or
I lift.
Yeah.
I can't move it, babe. So
okay.
go.
Well, put the camera down then for a minute.
I'm good.
Okay. Lift it up then.
This is actually
Okay.
like no strain at all.
Okay, now put it down.
Archimedes knew what he was talking about.
Yep. Okay. Pick it up again. Okay. Now put it down. I'm gonna have to put a rock under that because, surprise, surprise, the cement
not
I
level?
put in the post's not level.
Oh no! Say it's
Okay,
not
lift
so.
it again because I've got the outside edge wrong.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now put it down. All right. Okay. So before I remove my wedge, I have to get some rocks and stick under there.
And make sure it's where you want it.
Oh, and then I'll show you what we did.
Okay.
Okay, so first I gotta find some rocks.
I'm gonna turn off for a second. Okay. Okay. You're back with rocks.
Okay, I'm back with rocks. I'm just gonna slide down.
Do you want me to lift it or not?
No, well, if I have one that's too tight, maybe, but otherwise, we're just gonna kind of stick them in. Yeah, lift it a little bit, just a little bit, and I will try to get this one. Come on, you fucker! Can't you stay where I put you? Why can't you stay where I put you, fucker?
Down.
Okay, turn it down. Put it down. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take ye old impact driver and some long screws, and we're going to put them through that
Into that corner.
into the corner piece. And we're going to get it in the red part because that's the part that's the strongest. Boy, that goddamn pressure treated wood is half dead. And that's how we fix that.
That is very cool.
Fairly easy to do.
Yeah.
Didn't cost anything. We'll be there as long as the other post was, probably longer.
Yep.
Because the other one, like I said, that's
It had been
they
hit with something
sprayed it
treated.
with
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that helps it rot, which is like, that's lovely. And no doubt it was toxic, and I was out there working in it.
Yay.
Okay, so now we remove our lever. And as you can see, looking at the step, we managed to get it more or less level.
Yeah, we did. Which is awesome. It's good enough.
It's awesome. Is that what we call a fucking miracle?
Yes. Yes, it is. That's what we call it.
Yeah, a fucking miracle. That's a fucking miracle.
That right there is future firewood.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of firewood. People
Yeah.
are like, why are you just gonna have to burn it and get rid of it and blah blah blah. Especially Jackie, because Jackie's always like, he couldn't stand to have a mess like this.
No.
It would drive him nuts. It'd have to be cleaned in 24 hours.
Yeah. So you see that big pile of brush there, right? There was one just that tall, and
But
probably
3 times as long.
that thick. But it went from that pecan tree to the end of the flower bed, up against the side of the house. It was massive. And she's used that to try to burn out this stump because the stump, live tree, live stump, live wood, wet,
It's green.
green, full of dirt because stump. So she has been here burning and burning and burning and burning and,
My boils.
and knocking off dirt. And when she can, as you can see with the flat places, cutting off pieces that have been exposed. The hope is that when Antonio gets back with his big saw and finishes that cut, we'll be able to get that away from here.
And then get some of this shit cut and get this off my goddamn fence
Yes.
so I can finish burning this and get my fence back in, because I need to have my goats
This
in this
is-
pasture, because once again, climate change
This is actually the
means
fence
that
line
it
right
was
here.
so dry that until it rained, 2 days ago,
Night before last, yeah.
this grass was not green.
No, it was not.
And
And
there's no grass in the pasture the goats are on.
Right.
That's why they're in the backyard right now.
Which is why we need to get them on this beautiful
I need to
pasture.
get this pasture to grow up because I mowed it all
course,
because I
it's
didn't
still
want
got
it
the
to
old
catch
tree, isn't it?
fire, and it was brown.
Yeah, it was brown. We had the hose running over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
So yeah, it's one
Okay.
of those things. There's your obligatory ass shot.
Yeah, I see that. That's what I was just thinking, actually.
There's your obligatory ass shot.
Okay, say goodbye to the folks.
Bye, folks.